When you move that camera, it's making me feel uneasy.
See, and this is the one. It's definitely unplugged, but I swear to God, the other day the lights were on.
It probably was, dude. That thing is creepy.
But then when I came in to unplug it the next day, or after we talked about it, it was unplugged.
Hi, I'm anxious at bedtime.
He's anxious. It's our bedtime.
And this is Nova.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. We have Nova back in the pod lab. We're in two different states.
She's back in the lab. Pew, 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 pew.
And it's back to the lab again.
If you listened to our episode last week, you heard me and Cash trying to remember the creepy things that we experienced. I remembered what one of them was.
What was it?
In case you didn't listen last week, in my notes app on my phone, I keep just short little descriptions of creepy stuff we experience so that I can talk about it when we record. And last week, I wrote down Jeepers Creepers, and we couldn't for the life of us remember what it was for. It was because when we were driving and we passed an empty school bus on the side of the road next to an open, empty field, and then like 5 feet away
No
from the school
thanks.
bus. Yeah. And then, like 5 feet away from the school bus was a truck, and there were no people anywhere. The doors on the school bus was open. The truck, it wasn't open, but there was nobody in it. You could see perfectly in it, and nobody around in any of the fields.
I do remember that. Yeah, that shit was Jeepers Creepers for shiggity.
Yeah,
Maybe they're making a number four. Or maybe it was some sort of like tribute or something to the movie. I don't know. That's so weird.
isn't it? And that'd be cool. I would tell myself that and believe it if it were October, but it's December.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. It was definitely freaky to see, though. But also, because you were gone last week, we didn't get the chance to ask you, what will you be when you haunt people?
Oh yeah, what type of ghost are you gonna be when you haunt people?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What are you gonna be in the afterlife? What are you choosing to be reincarnated as?
Well, not reincarnated as.
I'll answer both though, or try
Okay.
to. The second one's so hard. But I'm a prankster in life, so I would absolutely be the prankster type of ghost. I'd be sweet here and there, don't get me wrong. Just like let loved ones know I'm there and send them sweet little messages. But oh, you bet your ass I would fuck with them too.
Yeah.
So are you gonna be a sheet
I'd be
ghost or
moving
what, dude?
shit.
Well, if she
Yeah,
wants to be a
oh
prankster,
god, that'd be so funny.
You can be a prankster as a sheet ghost, or you can be a prankster as a
Just
realist ghost.
or maybe she wants to be like a Beetlejuice sandworm type thing for her pranks.
Yeah, she wants to be the fucking sandworm.
oh no, that thing fucking creeps me out.
Yeah. It'd make for a good prank, though.
But yeah, I would just absolutely fuck with everyone, even strangers.
Oh, yeah.
I would love doing it to strangers. They're like, I don't even know you, and I'm just giggling in the afterlife.
Real mood killer, but after some time, everybody's strangers in the afterlife. Everybody, passes on, then they're all strangers.
Fair.
Mhm. Now for the afterlife, oh gosh, I don't even like reincarnation. I don't even know what I'd choose. There's so many things. But I also, to be fair, am a firm believer that when you die, like you are reincarnated as like every single living being on planet. So, I mean, whatever I do eventually choose, I've probably already done it or will be, if that makes sense.
It does.
It doesn't to me because you're not choosing what you would choose in this
Well,
moment.
because you asked the question weird. So the way that we talked about it last week was like, you know how people, they'll be like, oh, if you see a robin on a snowy day, that's me. Or if you see a ladybug, that's me. That type of thing.
Okay, so like what kind of symbol I'd be for loved
Yeah.
ones? Ooh, I'd be the friendliest neighborhood black cat with one blue eye and one green eye.
Oh, that's a good one.
With one blue eye and one green eye, so that they'd know it's me.
Yeah. And that's just weird enough that there's no denying it. I like that.
I'd be a moose.
Yeah. See, I still haven't come up with anything, but I want to be something weird and kind of scary. Moose is good. That's good.
Oh God, you should be a tarantula.
No, I'd be scared. I'd walk past a mirror and be like, ah!
You
Like, I can't.
just can't be a fly because you just be dead in 5 seconds.
That's true. Do ghost flies die though? I don't know. But see, it's a hard question. But we did determine that at least for probably a good month, I'd want to be an emo ghost.
Hell yeah. You just start blasting emo music. People are
Uh-huh.
like, where is this coming from?
Yeah. That's how you know I'm there.
Doors just slamming hella loud throughout your house, and you hear a faint, I hate you. It's not a phase.
After all my loved ones are all gone and everything, I'd want to be a tree. Just a mossy tree in a beautiful shaded forest. Some mushrooms growing on me.
Ooh. Yeah, after everybody passes on, I'd probably be a moose. How long do those fucks live for?
I don't know. They're pretty majestic and magical. I kind of
Let me
think they
Google.
don't die.
At least for like a couple years, right?
Yeah. Gosh, I still can't pick anything, so I'm just gonna say bat, and then if I ever come up with something better, I'll let you know.
Well, that sounds like a pretty fucking reasonable lifespan. They live 10 to 12, but sometimes 25 years.
Oh, wow.
That's a fucking jump.
Yeah.
Yep, I just pulled it up too.
No, I lied. I already explained this in the last episode, actually. I'd still come back as a human because I like human food.
Oh,
I like human food and human amenities and opposable thumbs.
that's valid. Ooh, a raccoon.
But as a ghost, I don't think you'd get any of that, so.
No, I'm saying when I reincarnate, son.
But also, what if it's like,
Lame.
no, like what if you pick the thing that you're gonna like appear as to people, but you're still like when you're not showing yourself to somebody, you're still just a human ghost.
Ooh, what if you get to choose like every time?
Yeah, every person, you're like,
But what about raccoons though? They eat human food.
that's terrifying. Don't be a
They eat
raccoon.
garbage. Typically, it's not like freshly prepared or anything, and I'm not a fan of eating garbage. I'll be honest.
I'm pretty sure they eat people too,
I've never tried it, and I don't want to.
especially not as a raccoon.
They're so cute.
Yeah, so to make a short answer long, I think she's saying raccoon.
No, not gonna be a raccoon. I'll be an albino bat, and I'll get back to you if I come up with something better.
I was talking about your sister. She's the one
No.
we originally posed the question for. She said cat with split eyes and stuff like that, but
Uh,
then she went off about that fucking raccoon.
that was for you
No,
because they have
she's
fingers.
tripping. She's got me 50 shades of fucked up.
But we got our answers. Moving on.
Should I tell the litter story?
I was trying to figure out how to bring that up, but yes, tell it.
Oh gosh. Okay, so recently we had two inside cats, but my grandma's cat passed away. Very sad. But anyways, it's been a few
Very
weeks,
sad. Moving on.
and yeah, I know. Sorry, I didn't know how to just like.
Moment of silence, please.
But and so we only have one inside cat now, and it's my cat. His name is Jez, and so I went to go let the dog
Sounds a
outside
little
to pee.
sus. No, but don't do that. It sounds very sus when you're like, we used to have two. One was my grandma's, one was mine. Now we only have one, and it's mine. Guess who won?
It's not like that, I
Oh
promise.
my god.
But anywho, so I went to go let the dog outside, right? And I walked
Who
by
let the
Jez.
dogs out?
Nova. Nova. Nova.
So I walked by Jezebel and I was like, "Hi, Jez." And then I opened the door and I started hearing a scratching noise, and it sounded like a cat scratching through like how they dig in the litter box. And
hmm
I just stopped. I was like, ain't no fucking way. Like, ain't no way that cat's haunting us. His name is Noodle, by the way. Shout out Noodle, poor baby. I was like, no fucking way Noodle's haunting us. Like, what? And then I turned around. It was the other fucking dog. The other dog just casually walks out of the room where we keep the litter boxes. I was like, you son of a bitch. That's pretty gross, but it scared me for a second. I was just, or like, not necessarily scared, but just
Startled.
yeah, like startled, confused. I was just like, what the fuck? This nasty ass motherfucker's been eating cat shit.
I still choose to believe he was in there going pee in the cat box.
I hope.
The dog was eating cat shit. That's what was happening. You were right.
No.
I would have much rather to have been haunted by Noodle.
Yeah. I would have preferred that too for sure. But I had a ghostly encounter today.
Ooh.
Yeah. earlier today, I was cleaning the cat boxes, and when I clean the cat boxes, I always double up 2 plastic bags, and then I scoop the clumps into the bags, you know?
Yes.
I use the same 2 bags, one point inside of the other, to clean the cat boxes, and then I just do all of the cat boxes at once. And so I'd already done one cat box, and I was moving on to the second cat box. So there was already poop in the bags, okay? That's important. So I took all the stuff upstairs to go clean the cat box, and then I realized I forgot all the stuff to mop the floor underneath the cat box downstairs. So I ran downstairs and I grabbed the stuff, and when I got back upstairs, the 2 bags weren't inside each other anymore.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, that's random as shit. But so it was full of cat litter. Well, not full. There was some cat litter in it, and there was one bag still where I left it with the cat litter, and the second bag was across the bathroom, empty, just by itself underneath the lid to the cat box.
Kevin was trying to separate the shit to go to your Nana's fucking dog. He was collecting the next piece. He was
Maybe.
like, I heard you bitches was going back to Oregon at some point, so here you go. Let me get this ready for the travels.
That's funny, maybe. I didn't even think about that it was cat box related.
For real. That was my first thought. I was about to say, like, what is up with cat boxes lately?
Yeah, that's weird. But no, that's not even where it ends. A little while later, I was downstairs and I had my back to the pantry. And I got like a weird feeling, not like somebody was standing behind me or anything like that. I just felt like, oh, I should look over my shoulder. And so I did. And the door to the pantry was open.
Never have your back to the pantry.
Yeah, but it was like just a little crack, just enough that I like noticed it, but not enough to where any light was shining into the pantry. So all I saw was like pitch black. And I was like, what the heck? And so, of course, I did the stupid scary movie thing and I like walked up to the door to check it, but I was smart and I wasn't going to let any
Did you bring
ghost.
a gun?
No, but I wasn't going to let any ghost or murderer know that I was onto them, you know? So I slowly sauntered up to the door, but I was looking left. The pantry's on the right. I was looking left. And I was like, because I'm going to sneak up on them, you know? And then I did the Patrick Mahomes no look pass and I opened the door really fast and there's nothing in there, but it was scary.
The way I absolutely would have just slammed the door without even I would have gotten murdered.
I should have. Afterwards, I was like, man, if there was somebody in there, that was not the right move.
You think it's possible that Kevin was trying to get another bag to go collect more shit?
That's where we store the bags.
Yeah, you thought you were tripping, but Kevin's really fucking collecting the dukes, dude. He's really just he's trying to help you out.
That is weird.
Maybe the ghost is telling you no more bags, just use one.
Maybe.
Control freak ghost.
He's like, think of the
Right?
environment.
We got a very fucking conscious ghost that's like, hey man.
Look, I can't help it.
You ever heard of Earth Day?
Those Walmart bags are so thin, and I'm not freaking streaking cat dookie all over the house trying to carry out one bag.
I have another door story.
Oh, okay.
Currently, with my living situation, my kid, she sleeps in the same room as me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like she'll be asleep and I'll have to get up to go pee or whatever. And if she's still awake, I'll close the door all the way so that she doesn't run out to the living room and keep playing or anything. But if she's not awake and she's sleeping, I leave the door either all the way open or cracked. And when I like swing my door where it's like cracked, it makes a little bit of a sound because I don't know the name of the fucking parts, but when the metal piece on the door hits the metal piece on the wall, it makes a little like
The hinge.
no, not the hinge. Like, so when you turn the door handle and the metal piece goes in the door and you release it and it goes into the
Oh, the
wall.
little locky part.
Yeah. So when those two pieces hit, they make a tiny little sound. It's like I know exactly what sound it is. And so a few nights ago, she was still awake and I had to go pee, so I closed the door all the way. And I came back to the room and she said, Mama. And I was like, what, baby? She was like, Mama knock on door? And I was just like, no, Mama didn't knock on the door. And she was like, knock, knock, knock. And I was just like, someone knocked on the door? And she was like, yeah, Mama, a monster. And I was like, excuse me? What, child? And I was just like, did it say anything to you? She went, yeah, Mama. I was like, fucking nope. Yeah, I didn't leave the room for the rest of the night that night. And then the next night, I left my door cracked open, or not cracked open. I left it open almost all the way. And when I got out of the bathroom, my door was cracked. Like it had closed more than I left it. And then the night after, she was sleeping. And so I was just like, you know what, whatever. I'll just leave the door cracked. That way it doesn't freak me out being more closed when I get back, whatever. So I go to the bathroom. I come out of the bathroom, door still cracked. It hasn't moved at all. And I was like, okay, cool. I went to go check the fire because at our house we have a fire stove. As I was checking the fire, I heard my door make that little sound where the metal touches the other piece, as if someone like opened it and then like tried closing it again. I was like, ain't no fucking way I just heard that. I got back into the room. She was still sound asleep. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going on with the door, but something is.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't mind it.
You know what it is?
Hmm.
It's probably your ghost saying, "Hey, you haven't talked about me lately on the pod. Here's some more content. Get to it."
Yeah, on God though, I'll give you 3 fucking nights worth.
Yeah. Hello.
I'm still here. I haven't heard a mention lately.
I don't know why,
Just checking on you.
but you doing a
Yeah.
ghost in that accent is like chef's kiss, my favorite. Like that's how I want to picture all ghosts.
Because it's just so innocent
It is.
and confused, like, I'm here. I'm sorry to be, but I don't have a choice in the matter either.
Didn't mean to scare you.
Can you give me a bottle of water?
Oh, I feel like I had a haunted thing I wanted to talk about. Not an us story, but like somebody told it to me. But I don't
Did we
remember.
have a listener tale? And you're forgetting about him?
Probably. People have been submitting them on Threads, but Threads does the stupid thing where if I don't like open it immediately, sometimes it'll delete comments.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I can't go back and finish reading it. And it pisses me off. So if you're listening and you follow us on Threads, please also send me an email and I will make sure to read and respond to all of those. And if you've replied on Threads and I haven't gotten back to you, I'm not ignoring you. I did not delete your comment. I don't know what's going on with Threads, but I know I'm not the only one, so. But all right. This week it is a Nova episode.
Hell yeah, it is.
Tell us your story.
Okay. So I was born in Clinton. No, I'm kidding.
It started a cold July night.
Anywho, where I live, we have had a good amount of snow come in already here and there. We're about to get more. But so the snow kind of inspired me for what to write my story about this week. So we will be talking about Bigfoot's Himalayan cousin, the Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman.
Give it up for Travis Kelce.
Or Travis Kelce, absolutely the best tight end in football. What's he then?
Big Yeti.
Big Yeti.
God, we're sharing the brain cell right now, aren't we?
That's 80% of our brain at Kansas City.
That's true.
Can confirm. Similar to Bigfoot, the Yeti is very tall and hairy. Its hair color can be brown, gray, or white, and is sometimes described as having very large, sharp teeth. The word Yeti is derived from Tibetan. Tibetan lore tells of 3 main varieties of Yetis: the Chuti, the Nyamo, and the Rain Shimbombo. The Chuti stands around 8 feet tall and lives between 8,000 to 10,000 feet above sea level. The Nyalmo has black fur and is the largest and fiercest, being around 15 feet tall. Last but not least, there's the Rangshim Bombo with red-brown fur and stands around 3 to 5 feet tall. So that one's a little shorty.
No.
There are other terms somewhat commonly used by Himalayan people that have slightly different translations, like Miche, which means man bear, Zute, which means cattle bear, referring to the Himalayan brown bear, Migoi or Migo, which translates to wild man, Banmanchi, which means the jungle man, which is also Nepali, and is used outside Sherpa communities, where Yeti is the common name. Merka, another name for wild man. Local legends state that, quote unquote, anyone who sees one dies or is killed.
Oh,
No thanks.
yeah.
King Admi means snowman. Jongli Admi means wild man. and Zirin, Chinese, means snowman. In Russian folklore, the Tutuna is a being said to dwell in Siberia, which is described as 6 to 7 feet tall and covered in dark hair. According to the native accounts from the nomadic Yakut and Tungus tribes, it's a well-built Neanderthal-like man wearing pelts and has white patches of fur on its forearms. It's said to sometimes eat human flesh. Some people have reported a tail on the creature's corpse also.
Gross.
Now, I'm not 100% sure if that creature is supposed to be a Yeti or not, but it is pretty cool and creepy.
Yeah. I don't love that he eats human flesh.
I know, right? Like, no thanks.
As long as it's not like mine or yours, I'm all right with it. It's not my problem.
Do your thing, boo.
Yeah, who am I to yuck somebody's yum?
What's the phrase going around right now?
We listen, we don't judge.
We listen, we don't judge.
Yeah. In 1921, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Howard Beery led the British Mount Everest reconnaissance expedition and coined the term abominable snowman. He wrote a book about the expedition and included a part where he found footprints he believed were quote unquote probably caused by a large loping gray wolf, which in the soft
Probably.
snow formed double track. I know, right? Which in the soft snow formed double tracks, rather like those of a barefooted man.
Hmm.
He also added that his Sherpa guides at once volunteered that the tracks must be that of the wild man of the snows, which they said the name Meto Kangmi, which translates to man bear snowman.
Man, bear, pig.
Yeah, Al Gore had it right
Yeah.
in South Park when he said man, bear, pig. Yeah.
Now let's get into more history and sightings. The Yeti was part of the pre-Buddhist beliefs of several Himalayan people, according to H. Seeger. He was told the Lepcha people worshipped a glacier being as a god of the hunt. Some people also believed the blood of the wild man had importance in some spiritual ceremonies. The being was described as an ape-like creature who makes a whistling swoosh sound and carries a large stone as a weapon. Yeti was adopted into Tibetan Buddhism, and while it's considered a non-human animal, it's still human enough to be able to follow Dharma. There are also some stories that tell of Yetis becoming helpers and disciples to religious figures. In Tibet, images of Yetis are paraded and sometimes worshipped as guardians of evil spirits. However, actually seeing or hearing one could actually be a bad omen, since the Yeti sometimes acts as an enforcer of Dharma.
I just have to jump in real fast. My favorite thing that we have seen time and time again since starting this podcast is the fact that so many cryptids are often seen as like messengers.
For real.
Like it's been every single one we've looked at. Whether it's good or bad or debated if it's either. Something about that's so cool to me.
Yeah, like Travis Kelce. So I don't remember what I was gonna say, but it had something to do with what Nova just said. What did she just say?
He was the messenger that good things were
Oh yeah,
coming in
people are
20.
fear in Las Vegas if they're a Las Vegas fan every time they see Travis Kelce. Like he brings that, you know what I'm saying?
And you know what? Being the cryptid and paranormal podcast we are, if Travis Kelce Big Yeti wanted to come on our podcast, we would do that interview
Hint, hint.
for the people.
I would fucking absolutely do that interview for the people.
Yeah, we have to do what we have to do, whatever our calling is, you know? So Travis Kelce, Big Yeti, sir, if you would like to be interviewed for a part 2 of Nova's Big Yeti episode,
Balls in your court, player.
the ball is in your court. I would fucking shit my pants. We've met him, and I would still shit my pants.
I'd probably back out, be like, never mind, dude, that was a fucking joke.
Not a joke, but I'd be like, I'm so scared. Like, I don't, it's one thing talking to you as a person, it's another, like, on the podcast.
Like, you ever seen any fucking ghosts in
It-
Arrowhead, dude?
What kind of
Is there
ghost
an
would you
Arrowhead
be?
ghost? Are you guys being like helped by the Dark Lord?
If we haunted Arrowhead, what type of ghost would you want to see?
Are you team probe or no probe?
Oh my gosh, yes. The people need to know. Oh man.
And at the end, I'll be like, so, can you get Patrick Mahomes to sign my fucking jersey, please.
Please. Please,
For the
sir.
love, for the love of God, this guy won't stop talking about it. Every time I try to go to sleep, he's over in the fucking corner crying, asking. That's my ghost player. He's mad.
I don't know how to transition out of that. So back to you, Nova.
Okay. Now, like Bigfoot, the Yeti has a lot of sightings, found footprints, even some found fur and a scalp, but also similar to Bigfoot. A good amount of it has been debunked, unfortunately.
You saying a scalp?
Yep, a scalp.
So hair like a Yeti's hair and somebody else's scalp, like they saw him and they're like, "Fuck that thing," and headbutted him.
I'm not exactly sure how they got a hold of the scalp, but
Is it is it a Yeti scalp though, or a human scalp?
it is claimed to be a Yeti scalp. I'll get into that.
Oh, okay, that's better than some random guy fucking headbutting him and being like, "Dude, dig this fucking tooth out."
Yeah.
That's a Yeti for sure. But I'd rather hear that story. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
that'd be a good
For
story.
real.
But I still want to know how they found a scalp and how they were like, "Yup, that's a Yeti."
I know,
This is definitely not Eddie's from down the street,
No.
right?
as you were saying, ma'am.
I'm personally pretty convinced when things are debunked on creatures like this, it's honestly a cover up to keep the creature safe. Maybe it's just the conspiracy theorist in me, I don't know. But the way I see it, when native locals have all of these stories about this being that go so far back, that just makes it so much more real to me personally.
Exactly.
In 1832, B.H. Hodgson was with local guides when they spotted a tall bipedal creature completely covered in dark, long hair, which seemingly fled in fear. B.H. assumed it was just an orangutan, but I don't know.
Yeah.
An early record of reported footprints appeared in 1899 in Among the Himalayas by Lawrence Waddell. The guide with Wardell described a large, ape-like creature that left the prints. Waddell simply assumed they were made from a bear. He had heard stories about these creatures, but he personally just chalked them up to being just that, only stories. I could never.
Mm-mm. At the very least, investigate. Like, ask around a bit more and shit.
Right? Just like, oh no, those are just bear paws, whatever.
You guys believe a man, bear, pig, or nah?
Yeah, something.
In the 20th century, reports increased with many Westerners determined to scale the mountains. Some of them reported seeing strange tracks and odd creatures. In 1925, photographer and member of the Royal Geographical Society, N.A. Tambazi, wrote that he saw a creature near Zimu Glacier. He observed the creature from roughly 200 to 300 yards for around a minute. He said it undoubtedly, in outline, looked exactly like a human, walking upright and stopping occasionally to pull at some bushes.
Hmm.
It was dark in color against the snow and wore no clothes. Around 2 hours later, they descended the mountains and saw the creature's footprints. They described it as similar in shape to those of a man, but only 6 to 7 inches long by 4 inches wide. The prints were undoubtedly those of a biped.
That's wild.
Right? In 1937, John Hunt and Pasang Sherpa came across more footprints, again near the Zimu Glacier. They
Hmm.
believed they belonged to a Yeti. In 1944, C.R. Cook, Margaret, his wife, and a group of porters came across large footprints near the Singalila Ridge. The porters said they belonged to the Jungli Admi, or wild man. They put Margaret's sunglasses next to the prints for scale. The prints were 14 inches heel to toe, and the big toe was a little bit more to one side. The second toe was also big and had a bit of a gap with the other three toes bundled closely together. In 1948, Peter Byrne also found large prints, also again near the Zimu Glacier.
Oh, wow.
I think there's something going on over there.
Yeah.
He took pictures of one with a pickaxe next to it for scale. In 1950, 1954, there was a, oh, and by the way, the pictures of those, um, I sent them to Monica, so they will hopefully be posted to our socials, so all of you guys can see just how big some of these footprints are. Like, it's crazy.
I make no promises, but I will try.
We will try, and if we don't, Google's free. In 1954, there was a Daily Mail snowman expedition with John Angelo Jackson leading it. They found lots of prints, which most of them they were able to identify, but some of them they weren't. It'd be so weird finding prints I couldn't identify at all.
Yeah.
That's every set of prints for me. I don't know what the fuck they are.
During the expedition, teams obtained some hairs from an alleged Yeti scalp, which was kept in the Pangbok Monastery.
Oh.
The hair on it was dark brown to black in dark lighting and fox red in sunlight. Professor Frederick Wood Jones analyzed the hair. He bleached the hairs and cut them into sections and then analyzed them microscopically. I don't know why he bleached them.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's dumb. Dumb. I'm sorry. Sorry, Frederick, but dumb.
He's like, how would you look as a blonde?
Yeah, like, what are you doing, sir? He took micro photographs of the hair and compared them to known animals like bears and orangutans. He concluded the hairs didn't actually come from a scalp, but he was also unable to pinpoint exactly which animal they came from. He did have a theory, though,
That's weird.
however, that they came from the shoulder of a coarse-haired, hoofed animal, but he just wasn't able to quite prove it.
I'm sure there's science behind it, but I don't understand how somebody could be like, that hair is not from a head. Probably a shoulder, but not from a head. What?
There was honestly a whole definition thing that I just didn't feel like writing down. But it
I
has something to do with like the follicles and the way that like the scalp is like curved in a way. I don't know. It gives the hair a certain type of appearance. But
huh,
A certain je ne sais quoi.
yeah.
that's weird.
Oui. In a book published in 1956, Slawomir Rowitz claimed he and others were crossing the Himalayas in 1940 when their path was blocked by two bipedal animals that were just shuffling around in the snow for hours.
Ugh.
They're making snow angels.
Maybe.
In 1957, Tom Slick led an expedition to investigate Yeti reports, and in 1959, they collected alleged Yeti feces. I think this part's so cool. Fecal analysis discovered a parasite which couldn't be classified.
Hmm.
I just think that's so crazy.
Yeah, that's weird for sure. I wonder if that means that they didn't know what the parasite was, or if they just didn't want to release what type of parasite it was.
Ooh, that's a good point. Because, I mean, to be fair, it says which couldn't be classified. It doesn't say couldn't be identified.
Yeah.
But everything they have identified, they classify it as something. This one, they
That's
classified as
funny.
unidentified and they gave up. That's crazy.
Very weird.
The US government thought that finding a Yeti was likely enough that they created three rules for American expeditions.
Hmm.
Number one, obtain a Nepalese permit. Number two, do not harm the Yeti in any way unless it's self-defense. And number three, let the Nepalese government approve any news reporting on the creature's discovery.
That gave me goosebumps.
Right.
I think that tells you some stuff because if they were making laws about it, like that's weird. Do you think they know?
They have
They
to.
have
I'm
to.
still so dead convinced that if you work like some higher government job, you get hired and then they're like, "Yo, so here's the deal. All those cryptids, real. Can you
Yeah.
talk about it? No. Do we take care of them? Yes."
I hope they take care of them.
Not in the I don't think they do it in a good way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
but I hope they do in a good way.
Me too.
In 1959, James Stewart, an actor, smuggled the Pengbok hand. Whether it's a real Yeti hand or not, I'm not sure. And that was like all I could find about it. I don't know what homie did with it afterward, if it ever got tested, if he some rich black market bullshit stuff, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's
But
weird.
he smuggled a Yeti hand, right?
And he was just like, "Hey, I got this thing." The end. Like what?
Yeah, and then he went to London, and then that was it. He just went to London, and then that was it. Like
That's
I'm like, I
crazy.
need more.
DNA tested or something. At bleach it.
Yeah. In 1960, Sir Edmund Hillary borrowed yet another alleged Yeti scalp from the Kumjung monastery to analyze. So yeah, there's not just one scalp, but two
Huh.
that monasteries had on hand.
That's very weird.
He's just going around fucking scalping Yetis. That's
Oh,
rude.
oh my gosh.
I know.
I was like, oh, you lost that one? I got another one. Hold on. Check it out.
They were saying that the blood was beneficiary to ceremonies,
Oh, gross.
right? So they're just out there marking these creatures for their fucking spells and shit.
Huh.
Well, let's keep the scalp
Yeah.
and a hand.
The trophies.
The hand just fell off when they were dragging it, and he felt bad.
Oh. That's why you didn't hear anything else about it. He buried it.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if he became an actor before or after he got the hand. I think before.
He used it in a bunch of his movies as his own hand. Didn't even tell anybody. He's like slipping it up his sleeve. He's like, hey.
They cut a small piece off for testing off of the scalp. Marka Burns compared it to similar samples of Cerro, blue bear, and black bear. He concluded the sample was probably made from the skin of an animal closely resembling the sampled specimen of Cerro, but definitely not identical with it, possibly a local variety or race of the same species, or a different but closely related species. So, in other words, another sample without a precise pinpoint of exactly where the hairs came from.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, though, until they get like a full Yeti body, they have to say they don't know what it is, right? Because you can't be like, oh, that's definitely a Yeti.
Maybe.
Hmm.
The governments probably already have five. They're just like, nah, don't tell the people.
Probably.
Here we are thinking we actually have power and technology, and it's just a bunch of fucking Yetis and Sam Squanches the government keeps kidnapping
No.
to run these devices. Thanks, guys.
Sorry.
Putting them in commercials like Jack Links.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be some shit if someday it comes out that that was a real Yeti they were using? Like they hired him and shit?
They're just like, make me some money.
Now let's market it. Let's try this. Put them on TV. You're gonna be a star, kid. Let me tell you.
Harry and the Hendersons.
That's such a good movie.
Can't ever watch it the same.
Why?
After our one episode talking about the Sam Squanches.
What about it?
I don't remember. I just remember I said I couldn't look at or I couldn't ever watch Harry and the Hendersons the same.
Oh, we're talking about it smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It does smell like Bigfoot's dick.
I'm not gonna elaborate on that. If you have questions, go listen to our Bigfoot episode.
Oh my god, what if they make jerky out of the Bigfoots?
We thank you for your sacrifice.
Yo.
What'd she say?
What if they make jerky out of Bigfoots?
Oh, okay. Anyways, Nova, does the Yeti smell like Bigfoot's dick, or does he have a different, distinct smell?
Ooh, that's a good question because Bigfoot, remember, a lot of our conversation was about how stinky Bigfoot was.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's so cold for Yetis, it like removes the smell.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Did you see anything about it being smelly?
I did not. I mean, they do like to shuffle around in the snow, so maybe they're just cleaner.
It's like an accidental bath.
Belief in the Yeti was so common in Bhutan that in 1966 they actually made a stamp to honor the creature.
Huh.
However, sadly, belief declined with the 21st century.
Oh,
But it is still pretty cool that they made the Yeti stamp. Like, that's fucking awesome.
yeah, it is.
In 2004, editor of the journal Nature said the Yeti is an example of folk belief deserving further study. He wrote, the discovery that Homo floresiensis survived until so recently, in geological terms, makes it more likely that stories of other mythical human-like creatures, such as Yetis, are founded on grains of truth. I love that so much.
Yeah.
In 2007, Joshua Gates and his team, Destination Truth, found a series of footprints in the Everest region of Nepal, which they believed belonged to the Yeti. 13 inches in length, 9.8 inches across. That's a fucking wide ass foot.
Yeah, it is.
The prints were examined by Jeffrey Meldrum, who at first believed them to be too morphologically accurate, but then changed his mind later after further investigating.
Hmm.
However, later in 2009, Gates presented a hair sample with a forensic analyst concluding the hair had an unknown DNA sequence.
What the fuck is up with all his hair, though?
Right? There are more reports and possible hoaxes, but I think I'll save those, surprise, surprise, for part two after my break.
Okay.
Man, what is with me and big, hairy, huge feet men?
And feathers. Don't forget the feathers.
Yeah. You all have probably guessed by now, but I absolutely 100% fully believe in the Yeti.
Yeah. I I think you can't dispute it. There's so many stories. There's all this weird hair. And hear me out. If we don't even know how the electric eel reproduces, I'm like you can't convince me that there's not potentially even if it's just an animal, if it's not smart like a human like we seem to think it is, even if it's just an animal that's out there, I think there's yetis and bigfoots and
Exactly. Like, there's so many sightings, whether it be the creature itself or the footprints or whatever. Not to mention monasteries having actual scalps of the creature, which
yeah.
have been tested. And the best anyone has come up with is, oh, it might be from an animal like this, but we aren't sure. Like, please.
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. I hope I never see one in person myself, though,
Oh yeah.
being it might be bad luck if you do. Um, I'm not sure if anyone that has seen the creature did have bad luck afterward or not, but I'm not really willing to risk it for myself.
Gotta risk it for the biscuit, Nelva.
But now I actually got to know, do you believe in yetis?
Me?
Yeah.
Not quite. Not Yeti. Nope.
No? But Bigfoot?
Yeah, I believe that there's things out there, kind of like you guys said. Um, that there's things out there we can't explain. Different types of animals that it could be. That we're still exploring. We've been here for thousands of years, whatever. But if we all believe in evolution and adaptation, things change, and sometimes being rural and recluse and living in different environments will cause them to adapt and adhere differently. So, yeah, I believe that it's at least an animal out there, at least something. If it doesn't have the intelligence level like we do, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
there's at least something. If not, there's some pretty good fucking pranksters, dude.
Yeah.
I hope that within my lifetime, whether it be a cryptid yeti, as we all think, or it is just some sort of animal, I hope I see the day where it is scientifically confirmed that whatever it is, it does exist.
Me too.
Even if it's not the yeti, like I just one cryptid. I'll just take one. Like
Yeah.
I just want one to be fully confirmed scientifically.
Come on, Mothman.
And all of a sudden, they're like, hobbits. Hobbits are real. And
What?
that's all you get.
What the fuck?
What the foot? Like, I wasn't even a fuck. That was a character from a movie. That wasn't a fucking. What
It
do we
wasn't
call
on
these?
the
That wasn't a
list.
cryptid. That's a fucking J.K. Rowling novel player. Like, what
I
the
don't think it
fuck?
is.
J.R.
I'd
Tolkien.
be like,
Sorry,
Uh-uh.
that's a
refund,
J.R. Tolkien movie.
refund
But
right now.
You're making a lot of noise.
I'm making a lot of fucking noise because I'm passionate about this. Or if they come out in our lifetime and they're like, you know what? None of this shit was real. You guys were right. None of it. You're not real. None of that's real.
My toxic trait is I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, what'd you find?
Right though. Ooh, I have a new question for our podcast, our listeners.
Okay,
If you could choose one cryptid to be scientifically confirmed publicly, which one would you choose?
that's a good question.
There's so many, it's such a hard decision. Because, like, fairies? Bro, fuck yeah.
I don't think we'll have that many votes for fairies. And if we do, we're definitely the wrong genre from what I signed up for.
What do you mean?
We're believing in the Keeblers. Oh, those are
Those are
elves.
elves. And fuck
Fuck.
yeah, I didn't know the Keeblers were an option. Give me my fucking cookie elves. That's what I want.
No, no, no.
Those little cookies where it's like the graham cracker and that chocolate fudge in the middle. Oh,
No, I want some
Mm-mm.
haunted spooky shit. I'm not talking little. And if you're talking, oh, they're devil elf or devil fairies, I don't give a shit. You still ain't scary.
he's like, I want to know there's a chance I'll get eaten.
But see, that's why the question is so cool, is because it's which one would you prefer?
Yeah, and I'm saying if our listeners are like dominant, like wish it was fairies. I'm on the wrong podcast, not you guys. You guys can be a part of this. Mine's supposed to be spooky, scary, fun, hilarious, all that. But if people are like, yeah, I do believe in fairies,
But hear me
I'm not
out.
on a goddamn Peter Pan goddamn loop.
The logic with that though is if we found out that fairies were real, I think those are such like a weird, mystical, magical creature. Well, they're not really cryptids though.
Yeah, my
So I don't
toxic
know if that
trait is I
counts.
wouldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
But hold on. No, no, no. They're so mystical and magical that I think that would be enough for a lot of people to be like, wow, so then maybe everything is real. Like, and for people to start taking stuff more serious. You know what I mean?
I don't support
Mm-hmm,
that theory.
exactly.
I think that fairies, honestly, if they were proven to be real, would be less exciting than people with aliens right now.
Really?
Yeah, I think they'd be like, "What the fuck? Okay, ew,"
Maybe.
like, and they'd be upset. Like, why couldn't it be a cooler one, like
So
me?
what would you want? What would you want? Mothman? Bigfoot? What exactly classifies as a cryptid? I know for us it's kind of just everything, but let me Google.
All right, you do Google, and I'll do some thinking.
Okay. So, kind of just all the weird stuff. So, remember, our listeners won't understand, sorry. But a while ago, I sent you guys in the group chat that post that was like cryptids for each state,
Yeah.
and it was like a bunch of weird
Ooh,
stuff.
yeah.
So, that's what comes up when you search cryptids. Ooh, I know the number one cryptid that I don't want to be verified by the government,
What's that one?
the Hat Man.
Oh, I don't give a shit about that guy.
Oh,
I
God, no.
do.
Does he steal your hats? Because then I
No,
care.
he's the one, he's a sleep demon that we kind of briefly talked about, where he shows up in a hat and he like does really scary stuff. We'll probably talk about him soon because
He
he
doesn't
freaks me
probe
out.
you, right?
He might, I don't know, but he's scary. Like out of all of the sleep demons, he's the one that scares me the most. That's why I didn't include him in that episode. Lake monsters count. Hellhounds.
Yeah, I'll let you know on the next one then.
Yeah.
I said I want it to be a cool one too, but I also don't want to feel like my life could be in danger.
Exactly. I want it to be a cool one, but I don't want to be like, oh God, so they're real, you know?
So for me, it would have to be
Mm-hmm.
one that the government's actually denied, like
Ooh,
repetitively. It would have to be something that the government says people are crazy for and try to, what is that called? Make them martyrs over.
like aliens.
Yeah, like try to make their own, like the CIA agents and the different uh, government agencies, all the people that are coming out being whistleblowers,
Mm-hmm.
all the people, like whatever cryptids the governments are saying, you guys are fucking nuts. You're crazy. I want those cryptids to be real.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly which ones they are, but it's not fairies.
I think mine would be, I don't know if,
Mermaids are closer.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if it classifies as a cryptid, but I think mine would be mermaids because,
Mermaids absolutely do
Yes.
because that is one of the scariest things for deep sea people too. Like people that actually go out on the ocean
mm-hmm,
is sirens and mermaids. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
a very big belief, and that is one of the most uncharted places ever.
exactly,
Is space in the ocean,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
they're still
exactly.
discovering new fucking species of things in the oceans. Aliens in the fucking oceans, guys. Come on, like
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah,
Hmm.
sirens and mermaids. That makes sense, and that goes hand in hand with aliens. There's
Yeah,
a lot of things it could explain.
but because if they said that mermaids are real, that opens up the possibility of weird things in the entirety of the ocean, all of water, really. So then that opens up lake monsters, sea monsters, all the other weird shit in the water, aliens. And then it's not a danger for me because I'm not going in the fucking ocean. So I'm not scared of
Exactly.
it,
I was
you
about to
know?
say that.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
I was gonna say I honestly wouldn't mind if they confirmed like all of the sea water cryptids because I don't go there.
Yeah.
So
The other good part about it, like if they did confirm, the ocean cryptids and shit, that would explain a lot. Like if you think about it in a logical sense for our wildlife, like the ocean wildlife and the mating patterns of sharks,
Hmm.
and the different mating patterns of like the great white where they go, it would make sense on why these fucking things are so erratic. They can't predict where the mating patterns are and why they spawn in random places. It would make sense because that's where the fucking aliens are and these mermaids and sirens. So like all these cryptids are having an impact on ocean life. That makes sense. It explains what's going on in there. That too, come on.
Yeah. See, and that would open up so much for people to study and research. And I don't know. I think that's definitely my answer is mermaids.
mine is still undisclosed. I feel like I'm leaning a lot more towards any sea ones, but it's just there's just so many.
Yeah, there's a ton.
I would like any of them to be confirmed. Like,
All right, well, that's been our episode.
If you have encountered the paranormal and you would like to have your story read on the pod, please email it to anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on social media. We have a TikTok, an Instagram, and a Threads account. All of them are Anxious at Bedtime Podcast. Send us your stories. Tell us suggestions. What do you want to see? Or what do you want to hear? Is there anything special you want covered?
Holler, let us know, dude.
Especially our family. We know you guys are listening.
The world can be a scary place with white Sam Squanches, Yetis, or whatever the fuck else they're called. But we're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
we're probably fine.
Sleep tight.